And we are live.
Canadian wine lovers, Carl's Wine Club members, cheers! Dean? Cheers, cheers! Hey guys, it's Earth Day, so we are here at Stratus Vineyard. We're in three different appellations, like almost right here. I'm with Dean Stoica, the winemaker, and we just want to celebrate Earth Day with a really, really cool new project here at Stratus, the first ever in Canada. We're going to talk about that, but first and foremost, thanks for having us. Yeah, it's really cool. So I want to know exactly, we just talk about it offline, but the Stratus Vineyard, where you're located exactly, it's Niagara Lake Shore.
Niagara Lake Shore sub-appellation, but if you look towards our vineyard there, it's not too far between Niagara River right over to the east, and then 4 Mile Creek appellation over to the west. We're kind of like right in the corner, but we're considered Niagara Lake Shore, even though we're just off the actual lake itself.
It's well, you're growing 14, 16?
16 different varieties. And we have really good soil types. So we have this glacial till soil, and the 16 varieties are planted on 45 different blocks. So we're taking advantage of different clones, different rootstocks, and different soil types to make a really complex blend of different varieties in our vineyard.
Okay, so for everyone who's listening all over the country, we know Riesling, Chardonnay, Cabernet Franc, right? We're in the heart of Niagara on the lake. It's like all behind here, but you guys were visionary enough back in the day to find different stuff.
Yeah.
And there's some cool stuff in there.
Yeah.
Petit Verdot,
Yeah.
Tanat,
Yeah.
Malbec.
Yeah.
So that's the blend of that brand new wine, brand new release today. Let's talk about the wine, and we're going to talk about the bottle here because that's the coolest part. So 2021 vintage. What's your percentage of these three?
You know, it's a field blend, right? So we're
There you go.
PVMT field blend. This is no winemaker assemblage. So we have an idea of what the breakdown is because for our appellational rules with the grape growers of Ontario, we need to know. But we actually don't put that on this bottle. We just put the Petit Verdot Malbec Tanat so that we can focus on the true essence of a field blend. We have these varieties planted in a few rows and multiple vines planted in each row. So the breakdown is not something we know very well. It's more that Petit Verdot is the dominant variety, Malbec's the second, and that's the third. We have to know that for the rules of VQA wines. But it's really about what's the blend in the field and not what we did as winemakers, as opposed to how we normally treat our Stratus brand signature wine.
From right out there, right?
Right
behind
Yeah, right up by we have a barn up there to the south, and we have some PV in those rows. We have some Tanat, and then Malbec is actually just to the west here and a little bit more north of our vineyard.
I'm hearing that PV's popularity is just absolutely skyrocketing right now.
Yeah, you know, it's a variety that has great tannins, tons of acidity, which speaks well to our cool climate nature. And then you have a lot of good color and beautiful aromatics. You have floral, you have black fruit, you have red fruit. So the complexity of Petit Verdot, and then the best thing of all that is over winters. That's so important about what we plant in that region. We have to be conscious of what's going to get through our winters, and PV is making it year after year.
Okay, so what are we releasing exactly today? Because something cool that I was looking at on the bottle earlier today, there's two serial number on it. So, and I kind of caught my attention saying, why there's two here?
Yeah,
okay?
so you have this original lot number here, lot number 916, and this wine was bottled in 2021, 08/31/21, so August 31st, 2021. That was the first wine. I could go look up our numbers and see what lot 916 was.
Yeah.
It was probably the 2019 Stratus Red, or maybe the 2019 Merlot.
Okay,
And then what we did is we worked with this company called Circular, which is a local company. They were in Kitchener. Now they're doing some bottle washing in Niagara on the Lake. And so we collected 50 cases off our retail store and also from some customer returns. And we brought these bottles to Circular, and they had a special line that takes the label off, the capsule off, sterilizes and cleans inside the bottle, and cleans outside the bottle, so that we could reuse and refill Stratus bottles that we had used from previous vintage. And so now you have a new date stamp that's going to be on there, and that's in 2023. So this was bottled just at the end of or beginning of September in 2023, and
That is so
bottled
cool.
with the 2021 Petit Verdot. And it's really important for sustainability. You know, this is what we did this for. In Ontario, we have a bottle return program. We can bring these bottles back to the beer store. But what happens is bottles of dark colored glass like the beer store, they don't get reused. They actually get crushed and they get downcycled, usually into fiberglass, sometimes into concrete or other sand uses, mostly because we don't have enough silica sand left in the world to be using the concrete to build our buildings. So they're trying to get the silica back in the glass so they can use that in the concrete. So what we're trying to focus on here is being able to use bottles in a reused way to create sustainability, because this bottle of virgin glass makes up 39% of our entire company's carbon footprint. All the vineyard, you see the tractor driving through, all the fuel from the tractors, all the electricity for the building, electricity for the vineyard, everything you see, our entire business, 39% of all the carbon is just the bottle.
Wow, 39%.
It's a lot.
This is
It's a lot. So so what we did is we have, and I think I have one bottle here. So this is a part of the story. So all the classic Strat labels we put in a lightweight bottle. So this is 750 mils. This is the same amount of volume of alcohol or of wine in both these bottles. So this is a lightweight bottle. And by switching from this bottle virgin to this bottle virgin, we took 39%. We reduced the entire carbon footprint for the whole company by 16%.
So from 39 to 23.
Basically.
Wow.
That's moving to this.
Okay.
Now, when you reuse the bottle, you're reducing it up to 94% when you're reusing the bottle. So now you're going from 39% down to like 5%.
So now you're telling me that this bottle at some point can have like 4, 5, 6 different
Well,
stamps on
in
it.
the beer industry, where you drink Coors Light, Budweiser, these brown bottles, they already came together and they have, so anytime you go to the beer store and you bring back a Coors Light bottle, that brown 355 ml bottle, they do get reused. They have a factory in London, Ontario. They all get used. They reuse all of these bottles many, many times, up to 7 times. Because of the thickness of the glass is still weaker and things like that.
Yeah.
A big, thick bottle like this is a 755 gram bottle. That's a 375 gram bottle or 370 gram bottle. This here could probably get used 20 plus times. A bottle like this, 15 times. So we did 50 cases of this bottle in 2021, PBMT, T-Bordeaux Malbec to Nutfield Blend. This year, we're going to collect 200 cases of this lightweight bottle and refill the lightweight bottle upcoming in August.
So even like, yeah, this
Now,
is
circle,
circle,
right? Exactly. And then in the future of this bottle, we're phasing this bottle out completely. And we're moving this into a PCR, so 100% post-consumer recycled bottle, which we don't make in Ontario. You have to get it from Spain. And so what they do, I say they crush this bottle and they turn it into fiberglass. Instead, they crush this bottle and it makes a term called cullet. So cullet is all the crushed glass that you have. And so they take 100% of the cullet and they put it back in the furnace and they turn it back into a bottle again.
Huh.
And that's very
From glass to glass.
from glass to glass. So you're reusing the bottle again and again and again. So what we want to do is eventually get this in a post-consumer recycled glass and then collect that and clean it and wash that. Now you're just getting better in sustainability. And it's really important because in the world of sustainability, we always, we're a sustainable company at Stratus. We're the first LEED certified winery in the world, first LEED certified building in Canada. We're sustainable certified since the beginning, sustainable winemaking in Ontario from the very beginning. And we always talk about sustainability in our vineyard. We don't use herbicides. We're using less invasive pesticides. We're using mating destruction instead of using insecticides. That all helps our local conservation, obviously. But when you're talking about a glass bottle, this is impacting another community in a completely different part of the world. And so the more we keep sourcing bottles like this and crushing them and using fiberglass, it's impacting the environment, not just in Niagara, but somebody else is losing silica sand somewhere else in their community. And so we have to get better at how we're using these bottles and then how we're reusing them. And so we're not using the same virgin glass again and again and again.
So is it okay? So the company who does that, they're
Circle,
local. So can we expect a new movement here in Niagara where winery might collaborate?
That's what we're working towards.
Collecting bottles. and,
Absolutely. So Circular, I think, had 6 more wineries signed on. We're the first. We worked with them over 2 years because the idea of getting a bottle, collecting it, how to collect it, then you got to get the label off. That's a lot of work. You have to cut this capsule off here. You have to clean inside. It's a lot of logistics to think about. So we worked on that for 1.5 years before we finally perfected it and actually went to market with it. And then this, actually, what's really interesting, this label that you see here is a very special label with water-soluble glue. So now when they take this bottle and they put that into the water to remove the label's coming off very easily. Previous to that, the wine industry, we won these labels. They're all like, oh, if they put it in an ice bucket, it's gonna last, through an ice bucket, like the wines you see there. So they use really strong glue, which isn't great for the environment either. So now we're using a much more eco-friendly glue. So that's helping for the rewashing process. So ideally, this small Niagara wine industry will have a kind of a collective where we have more standardized bottle. Circular is collecting the bottles, washing the bottles, and this bottle came back to us just in case it's like we bought it brand new. You would never know, other than this cool feature that we have the second date stamp on there. You would never know it's a reused bottle.
That is pretty cool. How many cases did you guys do?
We did 44 cases.
44 cases. So it's the start of a new thing. It's pretty cool.
It's the future. It's the future of Niagara wine, I think. You know, if we're using glass, we have to get there. We can't keep kicking the proverbial bottle down the road. We need to get into reusing these bottles as soon as possible.
This is absolutely, it's so cool. I love that. I mean, come on, like guys, like all across the country, we're starting to see these kind of movement taking place in front of our eyes, being lead building, like it's the whole purpose of your whole business since day one. And now putting like the action, like
Yeah.
again, being the first one. Cheers to that.
And the next important thing, how's it taste? What do you think?
It's absolutely fantastic. On my sheet, I just put a score. I put 92 points on that one. There's a few different reasons why. I would say this wine has a purity. This wine has a blend of fresh red fruit, a little bit of dark fruit, but the floral on the nose. There's a little smokiness, tobacco, and I love that. This with anything on the grill, absolutely
It's all
stunning.
co-fermented together. That's the beauty. You never know what you're going to get. You're taking 3 varieties. You're putting them all in the same tank and all fermented. We got from this 2 barrels, right? That's how we ended up with 44 cases. 2 barrels of Petit Verdot Malbec Tannat field blend. And it was the first try at us to get into this idea of blending these 3 varieties, which again, in terms of sustainability, we think of big importance. That's why we have 16 varieties planted. It's our hedge against climate variability. Different varieties react different ways every single year. And so that's why we thought, PVMC, it's kind of a play on GSM.
So can we expect that exact same wine coming back, or in the field blend that way? I mean, get ready to get something different.
We have another one already in the works of PVMT from 2023, but we also do more field blends too. So we have a field blend of an ancestral method, which is a field blend of it's changing every year, but sometimes Chardonnay, Sauvignon Blanc, Riesling, some Semillon gets in there, some Viognier. And so we're known as what we're known for is the assemblage, art of assemblage. Our founding winemaker, JL, brought this knowledge from France to Canada. Trius was a wine that he was known for making. And so we've always focused on this art of assemblage, but now we're leading that next step too, to say, okay, the field blend is also so beautiful. What comes from the vineyard, monks in Champagne, they didn't care whether you had Pinot or Meunier or Chardonnay. They just picked everything and they put it all together and they thought that was making the perfect balance. And so we want to be able to do both.
Okay. Assemblage, and before I let you go, I need to talk a little bit about the Amphora, because you did a cool launch last week in Toronto in a ceramic gallery. Now you're launching wine making in Amphora, just like the old world. Made the wines 2,000 years ago. So tell me a little bit more about that new program.
Yeah, well, the first time I ever had wine straight from an amphora was in Pre-Rat in 2014. And I was like, whoa, and they were talking about the Licorella soils and the purity of the soil. And they had been using, a lot of American oak and a lot of French oak, kind of like almost from the Robert Parker days, and that's just the way it was. But they were leaning out of that and starting to say, oh, the amphora is a traditional way to make wine and it expresses our vineyard. So I thought, wow, this is really something interesting because we have such unique soil and such unique wines in the Niagara region. Amphora could probably work for our cool climate wines. Georgia, has been making wine for amphora 9,000-10,000 years, cool climate region. So I thought, okay, let's try this. So first problem is, how do you even get an amphora in 2014? No one was selling them in Canada, at least that I could find. And so we started down that path, and the first one was 2018 and made wine in the 2019 vintage. And so we've been fermenting Chardonnay and Cabernet Franc to focus on the purity and the terroir, the impact on the climate of the vines right from our vineyard, with no oak getting in the way. And so we still make wine in oak barrels, but these are new expressions that we're deciding at harvest. Hey, this is a very unique grape that we're tasting right now. Like this Cab Franc is a little bit different than the other Cab Franc we have in the vineyard. So let's put it directly in the amphora and make this really unique Cab Franc.
Well, I have to say, everyone, we just tasted side by side, same vintage, same time in the vessel, a amphora Chardonnay side by side with the amphora in neutral oak. I have to say, like the difference is so cool. The salinity, the saltiness of the amphora is absolutely astonishing. And when you go with the oak, that salinity transforms almost to spice. So same winemaking, same grape, same vintage, just 2 different vessels. It provides you with 2 completely different wines.
And that's why we want to release them separate like that to start, just to get the excitement of like, what is this? So many people, they know wine, they know barrels. Now there's this whole other aspect about making wine in these traditional amphoras that are from Italy or Spain or from Georgia. People are already trying to wrap their head around that.
So cool.
And so we're like, you know what, let's try these as individual wines first and really get people excited about the potential for import on winemaking.
You should, if you're in the area, you should come to the tasting room here at Stratus. They have some really cool stuff. The new Blanc de Blanc 2016 was just released as well. Fantastic Blanc de Blanc. Just in a second, because I tasted something really darn good also. But try this Semillon from the 2020 vintage. This is really odd, like really cool. So yeah.
Another unique expression, you know, we do a lot of unique things here at Stratus, and Semillon botrytis affected has been something for a long time.
There you go. So I'm getting the sign here. I think it's time this time.
Well, let's just keep drinking.
It's been so much fun. Cheers, guys.
Canadian Wine Lovers. Thank you very much, Carol, Wine Club member. We'll be here in Niagara all week. So stay tuned close to your phone because we'll probably come back live at certain points. So
Woo, cheers.
Great segment.
Great job.